Now, many parents like to say, my child understands instruction, and he even recognizes people. He can even follow routines, but why is he not speaking? You see, communication is not just being done by one part of the brain. It's not just temporal lobe, it's not just frontal lobe, it's not just cerebellum. There are 5 different systems that work together for a child or even us to be able to speak, to be able to communicate. So if one of these parts is not interacting with the other, the child will not be able to speak. Or even when the brain is not communicating well with the body, like I talked a lot about in this book of mine, why your child understands but doesn't speak, the child will not be able to make speech. But now, understanding all these 5 systems that works together for a child to speak, now you'll be able to understand what your child needs and what kind of intervention you can do to actually improve his speech. What are those types? 5 different types. There is, of course, frontal lobe. This part helps the child to plan the speech. It's also the one holding executive functions. The second part is temporal region. This one will help him to process information, to process the language, process the sound, and give meaningful responses to the frontal lobe. So if one of these 2 parts, the neural networks, they are not wired the way they should be wired or are not adapting, because like we said, when you get your child for intervention at an early age, because of brain plasticity, the brain is reorganizing, is adapting, is strengthening the neural networks. So you can be able to improve your child's speech. Another third part that is involved here, of course, it's cerebellum. Cerebellum systems are involved into making sure that the speech we make is timely. The way my lips keeps opening and closing, this is cerebellum doing its work. Yet, it's not the one actually producing speech. Speech is being produced in my frontal lobe. So, if I ask my child to say this, say that, actually, I might trigger into adapting, which is why you should take your child for intervention, because the more he engages with other people, the more he engages into praise, the more I've talked a lot about involving your child into different sport activities, swimming, how to improve the nervous system and improve interconnectivity between different parts of the brain. So the more you do this, you can be able to help the brain adapt. It's not like when the child does swimming or pray or bring him here to Kunga therapy and we start working on him. It's not that we are going to change the brain, but we are going to help the brain adapt. We are going to help the brain strengthen. We are going to help the brain reorganize. Some kind of intervention are more like intense in the way they are conducted in such a way that they can help the brain to adapt faster, they can help the brain to reorganize faster, they can help the brain to strengthen the neural pathways faster. So, it's not like for him to speak, he needs just frontal lobe and, okay, if the child is not speaking up in the frontal lobe, that's the frontal lobe. No. Frontal lobe makes speech, but it's the cerebellum system that actually provide timing and even coordinate speech. The jaw has to be stable, the tongue has to move in the right moment, and even my lips needs to know when to open and when to close. This is done unconsciously. When you are talking, you don't command your mouth that right now close, the next minute open, the next minute close. This is the work of cerebellum. And that's why you should also now start engaging your child. Instead of letting your child be on screen most of the time, That's now why you should now allow him to be with other kids, allow him to be in the middle of other people, engage with him more, encourage him to talk as much as possible, because the more I encourage and he's still young, you can be able to help the brain adapt, reorganize, and strengthen the neural pathways. So another system which is also involved is the limbic system. The limbic system now is the one now in charge of emotions. Okay, this person is angry at me. This person is happy with me. This person is smiling. This person is not smiling. So we are able to read those and interpret because of this part. Communication, when you are communicating with someone, we know when someone is angry. We know when someone is smiling at us. We know when someone likes us. We know when someone is not happy with us. So all these are involved into communication. You wouldn't want your child to be able to spell words, mama, daddy, baba, what, but he doesn't know when someone looks happy or unhappy, when someone looks good to them or when someone looks against them. So you want him, all these 5 systems to be working together. You also don't want him to have speech in his frontal lobe, but cerebellum systems are not now making, timing, and actually coordinating that speech. So speech is not just one part. It's very possible for your child to understand everything, to follow instructions, to even remember routines, to even remember faces, but not be able to make speech. But now when you take him for intervention at an early age, 2 years, let me tell you, if there is one thing that I like to hear, I'm sorry, I have to say it. When I hear a parent saying, my child is 2 years and 4 months, he hasn't been able to make a sentence, so I'm worried and I'm looking for intervention. Guess what? I feel happy in my heart because I know this parent, in just 3, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, the child is going to start make sentences. As long as you take your child for intervention at that early age, the brain is adapting, the brain is reorganizing, the brain is strengthening the neural pathways, which are in charge in all these 5 systems, even sensory integration. So all these, they are working together to make sure that we as human beings, we can communicate. So any intervention you are going to do at the moment, it is going to yield more results.